once again.
Yeah, the Akali coming in here for Icon is going to be pretty damn good, and they got the Rell Jhin. Jhin seems to be something that Loken is very much prioritizing when going into this Varus.
Yeah, I mean, look, Jhin, Varus, a lot of poking coming through here as well. I love the engage coming out of JDG as well. Seeing the Wukong in play, something that a lot of pro players have seen as a very strong top laner right now, especially when you're going into the Jayce and you can build the armor, the resist going into that ranged matchup. I'm going to have to see how Zoom goes as one of the best top laners in the league, especially when there is a lot of buff up steroids on this team, with Yagao playing support duty in the mid lane. On Karma, another big meta pick that's seeing really good levels of play.
Yeah, we saw it earlier today. We were looking at the top of the tops, and we talked about how Karma has only been picked once in top, but has been banned 60 times across LCK, LPL, LEC, and LCS. But we are on to the Rift for LNG versus JDG. On the same sides, blue for JDG, red for LNG. JDG had a fantastic start to game one, and actually going to be Ale onto this Akali. I love this for him. Again, we highlighted him in the start of game one. This is the kind of guy that can be the carry top lane that the LNG honestly need going into 2021 summer.
Remember that Ale is a top laner who's been up there with people like Breathe in the past, right? Ale's been that up-and-coming top laner who's so great on these skill matchups. I remember him on the Fiora in the past, and it's something that I look forward to seeing again. So yeah, Akali versus Wukong in that top lane. Not going to be able to make much of that armor passive, but it is a bottom side start here for JDG, so I expect to see Kanavi move up to the top side there, Penguin, try and influence the lane a bit, because when you're going up against Akali, sure, she has the Shuriken flip, she has Shroud to buy time. It's hard to gank an Akali, but still, it is flashless. You can punish her if she over pushes the lane and get Zoom ahead, which is what we know Kanavi loves to do. JDG are all about this top lane, so look to see Kanavi path up there to start the game off.
We'll see what way they're able to make it work for them. And for LNG, you know, this feels like... It feels like the pieces are finally coming together for them. You know, they kept the same roster that came in from spring. They obviously got into 10th position and then very quickly knocked out of playoff contention. But they feel like they have confidence in this roster. They feel like, you know, now that they have Ale as their starter 100% over Makuya, they have ways of making this one work for them. And realistically, if they can get this scalp off JDG, it would be huge for their prospects for the season.
It really would. I mean, game one was a big surprise for me. We saw really good coordination. I think Tarzan's been a really big addition to this roster as well, so kind of excited for how far LNG can push it. And you're right, if they can beat JDG here, take the way the lossless team, then a lot would happen. As speaking of the game, Kanavi actually going to be spotted out here on this top side. He goes into the brush, but Ale fully aware. Pings came down, Penguin, but he's still coming.
Yeah, he's still coming. Flash has been burned. Ale in a little bit of trouble, and smack, bang, Zoom straight to the moon. Moon gets himself. Zoom gets himself the first blood.
Close enough. But yeah, there were pings that came down from LNG, warning pings that Kanavi was there. But Ale goes to the middle of the lane, really hard to reposition at that point. And this is what I just talked about. It's Akali, you could Shuriken flip, but once your resources are down, once your skills are down, rather, Kanavi can come in and punish here with the Audacious Charge. So, first blood going to Zoom, JDG once again playing towards their win condition, and this is the exact start you want to see, especially when snowballing that top side. Once more needs to be repeated, is how the structure for JDG has been built in their successful games.
Yeah, JDG, like they had the advantages in the first game as well. They were able to get themselves a 5,000 gold lead around the 20-minute mark. It was their game to lose, pretty much. As I speak of that now, we're going to have a little bit of a skirmish as Lwandy and Tarzan come in, say hello to the chickens. Don't want to fry them anymore and back themselves away. But for JDG, they'll want to kind of make up for that little bit of a hiccup in game one to try and obviously bring us to a game three now in this series.
I can definitely tell you are part of the 2019 LPL team when you talk about frying chicken, when all we saw in the bottom lower hand corner of our screen was the Robo Colonel. I think it's kind of disappointing our English chat doesn't get to see that anymore, considering that is KFC still part of the broadcast, Penguin?
It's part of the Chinese, yeah. It's part of the Chinese. I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure it's KFC's too big to fail in the LPL. So
agreed. But yeah,
agreed.
A little bit of a shame that they can't see the Robo Chicken. Anyway, the invade comes nowhere near as anything too much. Zoom versus Ale. Good Shuriken flip. Penguin.
Ooh, 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 dig, dig, boom! Zoom! LA gets himself the kill and the recall dance to set it all off. That's a massive amount of XP that would have been lost had Zoom TP'd the last time, but he still got his TP this time, so won't be losing all of it. But man, great 1v1 there by Ale.
That was sick. I didn't expect it. Taking the Shuriken Flip and knowing that the 5-point strike plus Ignite would be the final tick, as you mentioned. I'm going to get over not play-by-play, Penguin, but we'll watch this one again.
We'll share the role. We'll share the role. I'll play-by-play it this time. So you hit the 5-point strike, you hit the second one, and not only that, but there's the Shuriken Flip you mentioned. Perfect execution, doesn't even need to be used, and he just gets himself the Ignite. Perfect.
And remember that in previous patches, Akali got buffed where it now rewards you for taking the second part of the Shuriken Flip, right? The majority of the damage is in the follow-up, and you can see there, it's surprising for Zoom as it equals 1-1. And the top lane effort that Kanavi put in now equals out. It's a summonerless Zoom, and Penguin. Ali's now level 6 as well. The kill threat's only just begun.
This is where this Akali gets really scary, and actually picked up a Seeker's Arm Guard, so just knowing that she can freeze this entire wave, it goes in, does land the Shuriken Flip, but Zoom can't go anywhere near this. He's just going to end up this. He has to have jungle attention. As I say that, they're going to go in towards this jungle now, as I say that on the bot side. River is being taken down. Tarzan is here. It's going to be 4v5, but ooh, Yagao gets him with the empowered Q, and now the fight can really start happening as Loken is joined in with the fray. Tarzan falls, and we're going to see Light trying to do his very, very best. Icon as well, trying to see if he can kite this one out, but I don't think he can. This Karma combination is just too potent. It's just too powerful. He jumps down, but a triple for Loken is enough to send this all the way to JDG.
And that's the difference. You have a Karma here in a skirmish early game. Mantra inspired. That's the shield. That'll give so much to the side of JDG as top lane's battling again.
They are. There's the Cyclone. We're going to see the perfect execution coming out. He's going to use the dummy. Doesn't actually use it, just tries to get himself away and keeps that freeze going in that top side. We'll end up having a push in favor of LNG in a second, but there's still a dragon on the board. There's still potential here for LNG to look for some more fights, but it is all of a sudden JDG with a 1,000-goal lead.
Because you look at the side of LNG, after that skirmish that just came through on our screens, LNG burned so many summoners. Lwandy was 0, Icon was 0. Well, have a look at this again, Penguin, because it's LvMao, it's Kanavi who started off, and it seems like a 2v2, but as soon as Yagao joins in, adds the burst to kill Lwandy, and then you have the Inspire that weighs the fight. LvMao with the flashover was quite nice, buys time and overextends LNG, but this is the shielding of Karma, where Loken doesn't even start taking damage until it's a 1v2, and Yagao just played this so well. Gives Loken over the triple kill, and now JDG have so many parts in play here, Penguin. Loken is 3-0 with a Noon Quiver. Yagao quite fed as well. And this early game, despite it being back and forth in the top lane, seems quite well in favor to continue tempo for JDG.
Yeah, really, really does. And now it kind of feels like I'm looking towards Ale, who, like we said, is having that great time in the top side, get the solo kill, gets 20 CS or 15 or so CS ahead. And now it's going to be on him to be able to find Loken in this backside. You know, once that Gale Force comes in for this Jhin AD carry, he will only have that in the flash. So once he's able to get those two kind of, escapes off of him, the Akali should be able to take him down. But shoulda, woulda, coulda are, very, very big things in this game. And we'll see what JDG can do to prevent that, because right now, again, similar to Game 1, their early stages of this game are very, very solid.
But coming back to what you're talking about with the Gale Force coming through from Loken, I think also, as we watch this game develop, we are going to be expecting it's going to be the battle of the burst, right? Loken already having a lot of resources, going to be doing the majority of it. You mentioned Ali's interaction, but I think the most interesting thing for me is how the poke comes through, and if LNG are able to get some of those core targets before the fight goes on. Yagao provides shielding, and the engage from JDG takes over. But having said that, Herald's been started, but LNG want to contest this, Penguin.
They want to contest it, but you can see the bot lane's coming up, but actually at the end, LNG say, nope, we don't want to fight it. We're going to go back down to bot lane, maybe pick up some plates, maybe get a reset off or two, and just try and get ourselves ready for this dragon fight that will probably be happening very, very shortly. There will be a TP for Ale if that one does happen, and it's a TP advantage over Zoom, so we'll see what way they want to go for it. But yeah, Rift Herald over to the side of JDG, and that, again, similar to what you were just saying, that should help them with this early game tempo.
Kanavi takes a shock blast in the mid lane. Where's he going to put it, though? That's the biggest question. Next dragon's come up, or sorry, actually first dragon, because we fought over it and no one actually took it. Kanavi can use this as a decoy tactic that we've seen many times in the LPL. Put it towards the bottom lane, make Loken incredibly more fed than he already is, sitting at 700 gold lead, or push it towards mid and give Yagao that agency so that they can secure this first objective. But Kanavi saying no, instead starting the dragon. But LNG is still down there, and this is a Rumble ult territory with Light and Chains of Corruption too, so risky if they want to contest.
Yeah, a bit risky if they want to contest, but at the same time, you are looking at a Gale Force Jhin right now, so still very much at a one-item power spike, so he's pretty well accelerated at this point. As Ale was, well, Ale did have the teleport, but again, not really at a point of which, you know, hasn't got the Riftmaker, hasn't got the fully completed Zhonya's just yet, or even a stopwatch to say the least. So they don't want to be risking it too much. So first dragon goes over to JDG. Again, they got 3 dragons in the last game, or 1 off of Soul Point, and just couldn't get it over the line. So LNG, this is familiar territory for them now at this point.
And again, I think game 1, you sum it up right. You know, LNG's ability to come back, make sure they were able to kind of weary out the game from JDG's early lead was impressive. So we want to see JDG move the momentum into the mid game, especially since we're starting to get towards turret plating, right? We have that Herald where we need to see placed. LvMao starting to roam around as well, and JDG are trying to use this lead that they have in the early game to be more proactive. I'm just waiting for Kanavi's Herald that we've talked about many times, and where he visits next, Penguin, because now he even has his own Mythic. And I think Kanavi's going to be doing a lot of damage, and he has a lot of angles he can play through in these multiple lane setups.
Is this the first time we've casted together on the LPL? Is this our, I think it is. Oh, congrats to us.
I mean, it was unexpected again. I hope I'm not robotic, unfortunately for Mazel.
I also hope, as much as I love you and I love casting, your casting, I hope we never have to cast with each other again. And I mean that in the nicest way possible.
Well, can't help but take that as an insult. Thank you so much. Yeah. No, it's for anyone tuning in, Mazel was kicking ass in the series today, but unfortunately he had to we had to change pace, unfortunately, due to robotic issues. Happens to the best of us, right?
The robot overlords.
Yeah, dude, Australian internet can be as bad. But Herald mid lane, Ale moving down. We finally get to see it, but it's going to be shared between Yagao and LvMao. Ale moving down as well, but
no, just Kanavi.
Yep.
Yeah, just Kanavi. We can see there's the Shuriken flip there. We need a flash over. They're going to go in there with the ultimate on the Rell. And we can see now Ale just trying to delay, trying to keep himself alive for as long as possible. He will be able to get out with the perfect execution. The ace on top of that, you can see Icon flashing away. They had to use the equalizer to get him out, but successfully the excursion has been avoided.
I'm just surprised no one died in the end there as well. Icon had to burn his flash. Ale didn't have to burn a single summoner, of course, because it's Ignite Teleport, but this is just the power of Akali, the ability to buy time. You have so many escape tools and so many mischievous ways of getting out that JDG commit the Rell ultimate. They commit themselves a 5-man top lane. Ooh. Now Light sends out the ult, misses that one unfortunately, but it's blue buff time.
Well, it's actually curtain call time. It's the end of the show today, but I don't think they're going to be able to push out. And on top of that, it was Jayce who was able to pick up that final little tick on the blue buff, so he's able to get that one transferred to himself, no problems whatsoever. And we see LA back up towards this top side, you know, building towards his Riftmaker, pretty happy at the moment, and it's a half-item shop up in the top side for both top laners.
It is, but Ali's 40 CS ahead. I mean, that's massive. This is the time he's spent as Zoom's been moving around the map. Almost gets the turret plating there as well. He's level 10 on this Akali. And Penguin, that's concerning. I mean, he's in such a good position this game, and having the CS advantage, that Riftmaker will be completed soon. And as we get towards this second, even potentially third dragon, I think Ali is going to be someone to watch that you already mentioned. You know, if he can get on top of Loken here, even with the Gale Force and the Fed Jhin, that Akali is going to shred him down. And there's no one on this roster apart from Yagao that can kind of save him and mitigate most of the burst.
Yeah, it's going to be on Loken to make sure he does not get caught. Something he struggled with in Game 1. They were able to find those little engages, of course. And yeah, he struggled with it quite a bit. It's something, you know, we're waiting to still waiting to see if Mystic will ever show his face onto this roster, as now JDG caressing 4 people down towards this bot side, trying to see if they can get a dive going, but a bit risky at the moment when they do know there are 2 teleports available for LNG.
It's really rough that we haven't seen Mystic, right? It's something I've been waiting for, and, you know, when JDG last split said Mystic was on the roster, they're waiting to get him from Korea, he came over and did the, he finished quarantine, I think, towards spring playoffs, but just never played, and I'm not sure what his situation is now, if he's gone back to Korea, but while Loken is still a good player, you know, people still hoping to see this AD carry at some point. Loken does sometimes get a bad rap, but I feel like he's one of the strongest parts of JDG for 2020 spring and even summer at some of the weaker points. And remember, they were top with top esports, but there were times when they were definitely, you know, needing a strong carry, and Loken was it. So Penguin in this game, you know, so far JDG still have a gold lead. You know, it's 1,000 in their favor. Dragon Fight's what I'm really seeing kicking off. You know, JDG moving down there now, but LNG just look like they're going to do a swap and pick up the Rift Herald instead, which honestly, I don't think is too bad when you have a Jayce solo and when you have a Varus. These 1-2 item carries that really benefit from the gold resources so that you're moving into a mid-game at an even state.
Yeah. And I just gotta, you know, I wanted to just kind of quickly talk about a little bit of history lesson. Have we had a different winner for the LPL split, be it spring or summer, for the last like 5-6 splits in a row? Has it been a different winner every time? Because it's RNG, Top Esports, JDG, FBX. Who won spring 2019?
2019 was IG. So
IG,
they went
so there's 5.
Yeah,
and then who won summer?
Who won summer? That was RNG.
Nah,
yeah.
so close. So last 5 splits in a row, we have had a different winner of the LPL.
It's
and that's
crazy,
kind
right?
of it's kind of crazy. It's a testament to how cracked is if you're I will dominate. It's just like how incredibly stacked this region is, and how hard it is to be you know, a G2 or a Fnatic where you're at the top for so long. That's why I think it almost says like why the EDG and RNG era of being at the top for so long is even more impressive.
That's because teams come out of nowhere, right? Like new additions in the roster. Hell, I wouldn't be surprised if in this split or even the next split, LNG, if they keep Tarzan, if they keep this roster, turn into like a potential top 6 roster or top 4 that can start looking towards that direction. It's all the talent that's either brought over or developed in the LDL. Arley's a good example of that. Who else have we got on the Rift right now that's pretty much lighting that up? Lwandy has been pitted as a great support. Even Light in his heyday is, well, that's an equalizer mid. We're starting, Penguin.
We are starting. The turret goes down. The equalizer has been used. And you can see Lwandy, we just talked about him. LvMao and him go golden. He flashes away. And that's going to be Loken who dies. We're going to see now Ale on this backside just wreaking havoc. Has got himself a shroud as well. And there's nothing JDG can do. Zoom was not prepared. Zoom could not get into the fight. Now he goes in, but it's all a little bit too little too late if you ask me. He actually picks up 2. He picks up 3. Never mind. I'm just an idiot. There's nothing about this that was too late from Zoom. He knew exactly what he could and could not do. But he eventually falls, and Yagao, it's 1v1 against the mid laner Icon. He flashes away. Yagao is feeling confident, but he will be smote down by the hammer of Jayce. And that is a 5-for-4 in favor of LNG, but it could have been so much worse for JDG.
Dude, if I told my parents that I was casting tonight, I'd shout absolute bonkers at the moment, but I don't want to wake them up, Machine. I will say one thing, though. Karma in long fights is amazing, as we watched this one again, and it was the dive that came through. Look at LvMao's setup. It's perfect, but Loken's on the reload. First big point there. LvMao goes golden. Zoom's TP position is not great here, Penguin, thinking that LNG will be against the wall so he can press E, make that gap close, and set up for the rest of the team fight. But Zoom just survives for so long here. I was so surprised when he gets Double Cyclone out. Karma comes in, does the damage down, and I believe it's actually not even Karma. I think that's just Divine Thunderer for you. Another busted part of the game right now, and this was close, but, you know, Icon here with the Eclipse, dealing with two carries who aren't at that point where they can resist the damage. And Icon coming in clutch there with the end shield. So I believe that was the nullifying magic shield as well in the rune set. So definitely glad that he took it in the end. He's now 3-1-3 Penguin, 2 items. And that was just such a fun fight to watch.
My God, just incredible. And again, the point we were just talking about of how good some of these teams are, how out of nowhere you can build a roster, you can put the pieces together, and it really does make it just such a fantastic thing to look at. It's why we have such difficulty of ranking, quote unquote, anyone in the split, because it's like, well, if FBX pop off, then FBX are going to be the best team, but if LNG pop off, they're top 4. It's on paper, all of these teams are just fantastic, and it really does say, you know, huge amounts to this league. But right now for LNG, they definitely feel like, I think they're going to be feeling a little bit sore after that one. They feel like they may have, should have, you know, could have come out of that fight a little bit less bruised. Yeah, scathed, you know, a little bit better off, and worse for wear is probably a better way to put it.
There were definitely scathings on both sides, right? I think what we have to look at, Penguin, is the upcoming Dragon again. You know, it's objective, just like the meta dictates. And when you have so much range set up with Rumble, Jayce, Varus, just remember that for LNG, the poke damage that's coming through can be mitigated by the Karma, but it does feel like there is a lot of burst to catch someone by surprise. The biggest thing is, right now, JDG have bottom side control, while LNG are threatening top side. Are they getting the split push down while vision control actually over to LNG? They can always try and threaten the Baron. It's not the slowest of Barons in the world, but I'm not sure it's the biggest play. However, they don't want to give over this soul point to JDG. I think that's the biggest thing here, right, Penguin? Like, you give over Mountain Souls a potential coming up after this Dragon, and LNG know they have to fight then no matter what.
Yeah, actually, it looks like LNG are just giving it up. They can't fight it right now. They kept Ale too long on that top side. Look, I still maintain that you are correct. I just don't think that LNG are following your decision. And they find themselves in a very, very similar position as they were in Game 1. They're down to Soul Point. They can't let this one go. And they're going to have to try and just make it work for them. You can see the Shirelia's Revelry just being used to keep Yagao and Kanavi just running around this map so quickly. And it's why we see Karma on the ban list so damn often. She is just so oppressive in these long extended fights. You saw how she was able, alongside the Divine Sunder of the Wukong, able to turn around that fight in mid lane where they, as I thought in my head, had absolutely no right of coming back and making it as close as it was.
I mean, it's why she's so popular at the moment. Not one of the reasons, but I'd say that, you know, the build's so cheap as it always is. Things like Lulu as well. The efficiency in the build for the team comps you're running works so well. And here in JDG, when you have the Shirelias, when you have the Moonstaff as well, that is going to work quite nicely, giving that movement speed over to a comp that wants to gap close and get on top of LNG, then it makes perfect sense how the Karma fits into this roster. Penguin, speaking of items though, look at Kanavi. He's gone Essence Reaver second here on Zhao now. It's not entirely new. We've seen it a couple of times in solo queue. I know Blank has been spamming it as well a little bit, where Essence has been quite popular with the Gore Drinker, but two items to keep track of here as we're going to see a lot of crits coming out. We're going to see a lot of damage coming through, and it's two items that can kind of keep you sustained in the battle too.
Yeah, and speaking of sustain, Redemption has just been picked up there by Yagao. So even if you do catch on to Yagao and you try and kill him off, he's still going to be able to influence the fight, just be able to put down an AoE shield. Or AoE healing, excuse me, as we move in towards this kind of 22.5 minutes of this game. Soul Point available for JDG in 3 minutes and 15 seconds. It is only about a 1,500 gold lead, or just under, or just above that, I should say, as LNG now look to try and pick up some of this standing gold sitting around the map.
And I don't think it's lights out if LNG lose a mountain, but it is really harsh on the game forward, right? We already talked about the shielding coming through, the ability to elongate these fights, and for JDG alongside the Karma, they'll have things like the Mountain Soul Shield. For the Wukong as well, this lethality will mean absolutely nothing, and even less so on other members of JDG. So I think for the Mountain Soul, if you give that one away, you're in dire straits, and for LNG, it just makes the game that much harder as they're starting the Baron Ishing. Look at where LNG are, they're on the other side of the map.
They are, but this is not a quick Baron. You have got a Jhin, you've got a Zhao. It's not exactly the quickest, and you gain 2 towers. You don't get anything for it. Now, you guess you traded 1 tower for 2, but that's still a trade up for LNG, as Jayce is able to get himself out of this predicament. He had the TP in the back pocket, so he did feel secure in knowing he could join his team. And that's the thing with JDG. They can't really bait out a Baron because they don't take it that quickly.
And I think it's even better in temperament from LNG that the teleports weren't burned, right? I feel like JDG in that play either going to commit, pull off and turn, or try and get some of those TPs out so they can threaten the same play again, especially when that dragon's coming up that we mentioned is also important. So good from Icon and Ale to hold on to the summoner spells, stick in the side lanes, add the side lane pressure that we've been seeing, because Jayce, Akali, top and bottom right now, the waves are getting pushed in, and it's just giving LNG more room to set up the vision you see on your map. Look at top side, control wards towards the Baron pit, towards mid, tracking as well to see if JDG are moving through the mid wave to head either left or right of the river. So even the deep board here that LvMao's walking over, it's times like this where LNG prioritizing the vision, and it's setting them up for more information over JDG so they can track what move to make next and what move they should be making as the objective comes up.
I'd be curious now to see, do JDG try and take the Baron in exchange for a Mountain Drake? Because right now, they don't really care if LNG get a Mountain Drake. It's not that big of a deal in the grand scheme of things, but they may be able to trade it off for the Baron. Again, depends on how quickly they can get onto that objective. There is a ward just sneakily, as you can see it there, just beside the Wraiths, that has found itself into the jungle of JDG as this dragon is spawning in 50 seconds. I wonder how long is left on that ward, because that could be pivotal if Akali or Jayce want to get themselves into the back lines.
Spotted out on one
just
for now.
died.
Yeah, okay, there we go. I was going to say, it's going to go down.
It just died.
Hey, I'm in love with items this game. I feel like other things are making sense. Oh, peekaboo.
Peekaboo, I see you. Zoom now might be in a little bit of trouble. We're going to see the perfect execution used as Zoom tries to flash himself away. Cyclone has been used as well. The redemption is just a little bit too late as well. The flash from LvMao. JDG, what are you doing? You're committing so much and you're losing everything.
That's two immediately gone down. LNG had the option of the map, and you said, look, JG not going to be scared if they lose a Mountain Dragon, but if LNG are able to threaten things like the Baron, get the Mountain as well, deny the Soul, the game goes on and more crucial items are picked up. LNG moving towards the pit, and this is going to be secured no contest, while JDG, you mentioned the slow Baron. As they go towards it, I mean, they can't pick that up. All they can do is clear some vision, and LNG keep the game going longer and close up some of that gold lead.
And again, same as game one. We can see it in the replay here. It's just people on JDG getting caught out.
And Ale just full committing. I love this, man. Every part of this game, every part of this series, Ale has understood his damage cap. And yeah, Akali, probably not the most balanced champion right now, but that was just real nice. Unfortunate for LvMao, he didn't get the crash down over the wall. So it was a 2 for 0 plus the Mountain Dragon here, giving some bonus stats as well to people like the Nautilus. You know, also, you know, you get that on your Zhao guys, that's going to beef it up as well. So good stuff from LNG. We come back to live, and it feels like, you know, we're looking at that timer in the top left again. But in 4 minutes' time, you know, we're going to have a 4-item Jayce. We're going to have a 3-item Varus. Champions that can poke down and destroy people like Loken, you know, even Kanavi, probably not Zoom, before the Karma shields come in, before the fight goes long enough where some of that sustain coming through will help out.
And this is kind of the issue when you're picking into the Jhin, is that, you know, why we haven't seen much play of him in professional play is that you look at all the AD carries at the moment in the meta, the Varus, the Kai'Sa, the Ezreal, hell, even the Kalista. These are all things that when you make a small misstep can punish you in terms of objective taking, be it towers, be it objectives, you know, whatever the hell it is. Now you don't have that opportunity. You kind of just have to hope that you can get a good, long, elongated fight with something like the Karma just constantly shielding you up. And for now, it's just looking like it's going to be a little bit more difficult, because even with that Karma, you got 2 Serpent's Fangs coming out here now for the Jayce and for the Varus. So that's even going to be a little bit harder for you to be able to kind of, you know, keep your carries, you know, alive.
Blast through people like LvMao as well too, right? So really good buys here. That's what I was talking about before we got the engage. But we're just doing the dance with no pants, or at least with partial pants. I don't know if you know, walk around the house with your knickers. Yeah. You've been singing a lot lately on broadcast. I feel like you're kind of warming up.
I have actually, yeah. I don't know. Maybe I'm waiting to drop my album coming soon. Suffering from success. Okay.
Oh my god. You're humble as well. That's the biggest part.
I have to humble it up. You know. Hey, if you're not gonna hype yourself up, who else is gonna hype you up?
Hey, I mean, that's what I'm here for, bro. I'm not even a real color caster.
That's true.
I'm just some dude who sitting in a mic. You know, in my gym workout clothes. Had a good day, Sheen. Thanks for asking, by the way.
Yeah.
And
What did you do? What did you do today? What made it good?
On my
I know you
day
did
off,
assets because you're on broadcast tomorrow.
I'm on broadcast tomorrow and the day after. And today I went to the gym and I talked to my bank and I got very grouchy with my bank. They're very naughty, trying to make me pay fees. No to fees, everyone. And yeah, I think it was more productive than that. I made a pie, the first of potential Kenko's pies, as
Ooh, what
Icon
kind of
versus
pie?
Zoom. Well, hang on. Let's hold, because Icon's going to do this.
Oh, Icon. Oh, is he though? Because he's going to get caught up a little bit. But there's the equalizer down on top of Zoom, and I think it's just to get him out. They are picking onto the Baron though from JDG, but again, they can't take this objective. They don't burn it down quick enough. They'll just die.
Yeah, it was okay.
But anyway, what kind of pie?
It was just a
What
meat
kind of
pie.
pie?
You know, because I want to.
But what kind of meat? Was it like a steak and kidney?
No. We slow cooked. We slow cooked oyster blade, not gravy beef, but oyster blade, like tough meat over the period of 10 hours. And, yeah, we did a bit of Worcestershire sauce, salt and pepper. I can't remember what else was in it, but yeah, big old pie. It tasted
taste
better.
good?
Yeah. It's almost as good as for any Australians out there. Philly's pies are absolutely banging. That and Sergeant says, okay, teleport coming into the map. That's just Yagao getting back to the lane. Guys, we're kind of, shooting the S because in a minute's time,
Yeah.
Dragon's going to come up.
We'll be real with y'all right now. We are two play-by-play casters, right? So when it comes to deep, thoughtful analysis that the likes of Dagda and Lyric and, maybe some other people who will be able to help
Tell you
us in
about
the
a
future will
frickin'
bring
pie.
us. Yeah. We'll talk about pies. Well, 40 seconds. We'll see if JDG can... get themselves this mountain soul. I was trying to see if I could make some kind of pie joke there, but then I was like, no, it doesn't really work.
It's all right. You come to
Yeah,
Australia,
we'll
mate,
figure it
I'll
out
be fine.
afterwards. I actually want to. I want to go visit Australia. I want to go visit lots of Southeast Asia. But teleport going to be committed here by
Here we
Ale as
go.
he knows he has to be available
Look
for
at Zoom.
this. And now Zoom, he's been spotted. They know he's there, so they should know that he's going to be coming in from the flank. So JDG, do they look to try and engage fully, or do they just look to try and back up? LvMao is already half HP. You can see he has to try and back away, try and heal up with those shields a little bit. The Dragon has been started, 4,000 HP on that. They're going to try and burst it down. Ale goes in onto the backside. There's the equalizer as well, but it is the Mountain Soul confirmed for JDG. And then you can see Ale is dead. And now the retreat is in for the side of LNG. They cannot continue this fight as Tarzan goes golden, gets hit with the final shot. Kanavi picks up his kill, and now they're going to run straight towards that Baron.
CC chain beautiful on top of Arlade. No chance to contest. The Mountain Soul makes it a million times harder here for LNG as they hit towards the Baron. Remember, slow Baron, but Tarzan's not alive. Arlade's not alive. It is a 3 versus 5 with more shielding than could fit in your mouth. Right now, JDG feel comfortable, and this looks like the stab to attempt to make it a game 3.
They get themselves the Soul, they get themselves the Baron. They will have tempo and, of course, the advantage now for the next 3 minutes, but see how this replay goes. And like you said, Ale tries to go in, but just gets completely CC locked there by the Rell, and just nothing he can do.
Absolutely nothing, and from there it's easy, right? Curtain Call provides the range. LvMao's engages have been really neat in this game, and then Tarzan caught up without a hope in the world. LNG running for their life. Now Baron in hand for JDG, a 3k gold lead with the Mountain Soul. I'm not sure if this game's going to go to Elder, right? Because Zoom in a side lane while the rest play the 4. There's a lot of threat of dive here. There's a lot of sustain. There's more so. There's a lot of healing, right? We don't have the shilling, which you guys kind of coined, or at least Bunchables. I'm not sure which of you coined it, but
Not me.
we had a lot of healing, right? And even now with the Banshee's Vow, Yagao, the healing value, the shielding value is going to be worth a lot, as they're not even worrying about the side lane. Slow push top, bottom's kind of crashing, charging through mid for the inners here, and JDG going to take it down just like that.
Yeah, and LNG, they know that they haven't really got the best front-to-back team fight, but JDG do. JDG have the tanks that can run forward as they jumped in straight away. They look for it right now. There's a Cyclone, as Ale has to try and find himself away from this one. They have the Scryers going to know exactly where he was, and now we can see maybe a little bit of a turnaround. Zoom, though, taking a shot from the tower means that he will fall. It's a 1-for-1, 2-for-1 now in favor of JDG. They should just wait for the shields to be able to come back up. Everyone from the side of LNG are going to try and heal back up, and JDG are going to try and end the game right now.
They still can. They have Kanavi available. Yagao still there as well. They can continue diving.
Oh! Kanavi jumps straight back in, and that is the damage gone. You do no longer have any more damage. Everyone is dead, and we are going the full distance again today. 6 games on the day. Game 3 coming up for JDG versus LNG.
All I can say for JDG is great bounce back. That was beautiful to watch, and every moment coming through from Kanavi was showing that he's part of that King of the Jungle routine that we remember from well back. Tarzan a little bit out jungled at points in the game, and the Karma pick through mid, something that the LPL hasn't really attached to as much. I was looking at a little bit of stats here for my picks tomorrow, Penguin, and Karma's something that we constantly see banned out, right? You know, 30 out of 36 games or something in the LPL, it's been banned away. But when it does get picked up, I mean, moderate amount of success and usually down towards that bottom lane. First time we're seeing it in mid, and Yagao was fundamental to helping the win come through.
He really, really was. I would not be surprised to see it either banned, and if it's not banned, first picked again for the side of JDG. But very, very good win for them. Very good setup for them to be able to come back into this one. But LNG, they still look like they've got a couple of fights in them. They still look like they've got a couple of things that can, you know, make it so that they can take this win. They just have to keep it together and maybe be a little bit proactive, a little bit more proactive in that mid game.
Yeah, I mean, they got a, you know, you got a Varus, you got yourself a Jayce as well, right? You have a lot of long range, a lot of poke coming through in this composition, and it never felt like there was a time when they were threatening, you know, part of the picks coming through, or at least trying to abuse that range. But how could you when every time JDG tried to group up, gain numbers advantage? And the only time was those little picks on the bottom side, which is when we finally saw LNG kind of abuse the windows, kind of abuse the timing, really focus around Ale, which is who's been the most successful person, you know, on this roster, especially this series. Okay, just this series. We know it's Tarzan in the bars and might know Lwandy, but Ale's had a pretty good series so far. And point being that a couple of picks down in the bottom lane net them advancing the game a little bit longer, but unfortunately it was a couple other team fights once again around that dragon where, as a 5-man group with Karma in the middle with a Wukong as well, if you run into them, their engage is absolutely massive, so super easy.
Yeah, well, speaking of a Karma pick being influential, it was Yagao who picks up himself the Man of the Rift in Game 2. He was pretty much pivotal to the fact that JDG were able to come back into that one. There he is with his toothbrush looking all happy. Look at him, he's so happy. And he picks himself up. And I really love the addition of the Banshee's Veil as like a 4th item, because it just kept him safe. It kept him from getting caught out from the Akali or from the Jayce, like with the poke or anything like that, and just meant that he was able to be putting the shield onto the priority carries rather than himself.
Mainly as well, Chains of Corruption, right? And even the Varus poke, you negate one spell, so something like Varus poking you down, putting you out of the fight, would have been a detriment for him. So Yagao, you're right, great itemization there, set the team up for success, and this Karma pick was fantastic to watch, helped JDG move us to a Game 3.
Yeah, well, we'll see how that Game 3 goes. We're going to throw it to a quick break, and when we return, we'll have the third and final